Here we are, of course, at the soiree. I've moved these the furniture, all the tubs around a little bit. I need to cut that much out over as far as the base of that post. I need to cut that much out because the tub is going to go down there. This Zitzbot is going to go up here, and what I do with the rest matters less. But what I'm going to go, and that's easy, relatively easy there. But I'm going to go after getting some kind of a decent cut right along there, so I can put these tubs in pretty close to their final position. Oh, and I should maybe remind John Solney, among others, that I'm not only taking little tiny pieces out. I mean, there's one of the slabs marked right there, so I know how it's oriented. That's the last one in the queue. There's one already down there. The biggest one is already down there. And then that one, this one, this one, this one. Those are a little bit bigger pieces than I would like to be working with, but let's not forget that they're there. Also, John's worried about how impractical I am. This is the material under the snow and ice is some of it, but that's the rubble I'm getting out of, and that'll be the material that I use to build the fountain up in the woods. Well, that undermining is kind of a pain, really. You can only, it's hard to get to it, you know, because you're under something else, especially if you come to a really big rock, and there's a few there. But I got it. See some of the size of these rocks? That's not rubble. Those are laying stones. They came from something that had been laid up. That one right there, I can't get out yet. It's that deep. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to score it, or at least, score it, right along here where I would, in a dream world, it would crack. And then, I'm not going to try very hard there. And then I'm going to get the big Johnson, right there, my collection of sledgehammers. And I'm going to start at the score and then work toward the edge until it breaks wherever it wants to break. That's my plan. There, I'm not sure if you can see those marks, but that's what I did with that digging bar. That's where I would like the cut to be, as I say, in some kind of an ideal world. But I've only undermined it back maybe 8 inches, at most a foot. And that I can break off, I know. Of course, then it gets easier to continue undermining. But let's see what the big Johnson does. Oh, another thing. It's fun to talk about John Solney because he's such a skeptic about the way I do things. My neighbor, Andy, has a jackhammer, and he told me I could use it if I wanted. But he said it'll just smash the end. It'll just, you can't use it for what you're using it. I doubt that a little bit. If I'd made a track for it to go, I don't know. But I said no, that would just make a big noise and a dust, and I'd end up with a bunch of little pieces. So here we go. There's the first crack that developed. No surprise with this hanging out like that. Well, I'm gonna break that piece off before I go on. Well, that was an easy and clean break. I just went real gentle with the big Johnson because I didn't want it to break. I'd like these to end up being in one-man stones. One man can lift them. So I'll move that, not all the way outside, because I'm still going to want to try to index these. So I'll move it back to where I'm standing and see if I can undermine more now. Wow, I wonder if you can see that. That's the next crack that developed. And once again, I'm going to be real gentle with that. See if I could maybe get that whole stone out, or paver out by itself. I wasn't able to undermine very much, so that might have been ready to break anyway. Being very gentle, I was able to open that crack some. Another thing I did too is I lift up on it. I can only barely do that, But I don't want to just go straight down. I want to go up and down. I'd really like to get that whole piece out. In spite of how gentle I was, I still, there was another crack developed here. I don't know if you can see that or not. That's better anyway, because those be easier to manage for me. And before I do any more, I'm going to use chalk to index these 3 pieces. Maybe even while I'm at it on the way back. Yeah, that piece came out whole, in spite of the fact that I didn't have it undermined the whole way. Of course, now I'll undermine more before I do anything else here. And that crack, it didn't go the whole way. I mean, it stayed together. Can't even see it at the moment. It's there. But anyway, there it goes. I might just crack it on purpose to make it easier to carry out. Wow, how about that piece? Broke off as a single piece. Great. I think I'm gonna call that quits for today, though. I want to think a little bit about what I'm going to do next. Success.